This episode of Southeast Iowa Today is brought to you by Griner Auto Body of Washington, Iowa, using state-of-the-art techniques and decades of experience to get your car back on the road after an accident. Car Doctor of Washington, Iowa. No matter who Frankensteined it, they can fix it, clean it, and customize it. McDonald Boneyard of Keota, Iowa, for all your farm equipment and auto recycling needs. For great food, it's Your Choice. Your Choice Family Restaurant of Wayland, Iowa. Open Tuesday through Sunday. Come to our cruise-ins this summer on the second Tuesday of the month, June through September. Girling Repair of Winfield, Iowa. If your mower is dead, call Fred, your Husqvarna, Aaron's, and Gravely dealer. Fred also fixes and sells snowblowers. B&B Propane and the family of jet stops. CW Tree Trimming, LLC. We're into your trees, not your wallet. Serving all of Henry County and the surrounding area. We offer a senior citizen and veteran discount. Dutch Market and Coffee Talk of Washington, Iowa. Dutch Market can handle all of your grocery needs, and they even have a conference room that you can use for free. Coffee Talk's drive-thru is open and ready to serve you coffee, energy drinks, sandwiches, baked goods, and ice cream. They all present you the award-winning Southeast Iowa Today. Here's the author of Christie's Journey, The Beat Goes On, and your host, John Bain.
Today is Monday, July 21st, 2025. I am in front of the Jefferson County Courthouse in Fairfield, Iowa. It is Board of Supervisors meeting day, and there was a lot on the agenda. So I'm breaking this up in two different episodes. This is part one. Part two has some very good information as well regarding a local county attorney and a local county sheriff. So you want to check that as well. And I also need to thank my announcer, Cody Roy of NewEnglandDukes.com, for his golden pipes and wonderful introduction. So here is part one.
8:30, I'll call this meeting of Jefferson County Board of Supervisors to order for, Monday, July 21st. And would entertain a motion to acknowledge the minutes of January. It'll go July 14th. Is there any others? No. Okay.
So moved.
Second. Motion and a second. Any discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor say aye. We brought the towels, Susie, just in case you dumped your coffee this morning instead of your soda. All right, meet with the Courthouse Maintenance Supervisor. That'd be you, Dave.
Mm-hmm.
What you got going?
Well, we're gonna talk about the generator.
Okay. And since that's number 2 on the list, we'll just jump to that. Rod's here. What?
Nothing.
Oh, okay. So, we've been having, when we lose power, it knocks out we have battery backup on our server, but it only lasts so long, and then it goes south. And then it kind of balls everything up, and Jerry, PCS, indicated that he was concerned that we've got a lot of money tied up in that server that we would end up damaging that server. So we talked about the need for a generator, but we don't know what that looked like or any idea what the cost is, or can we just hook up the server to it rather than the entire courthouse or whatever the case may be. So we need some expertise.
Well, Dave and I were discussing that. If we're just concerned about the server, then yeah, we isolate it and the power that runs to that, run it off the generator backup, which is possible to do.
So I have no idea what would be involved in that, but is that what we're talking about? Is just protecting the server?
The entire time I've been here, I've never heard any complaints, and I think I talked to Abby and Shannon last week that they really don't get any complaints from anybody outside of that. When we drop power, that generator power would be required anywhere else in the building besides that, so
Okay.
it's most likely that it's a small isolated area that we're trying to take care of, so regular backup generator, whatever we think is needed.
So then the question is, how long duration are we seeing? I mean,
Well, how long is the battery backup, do you know off the top of your head?
I believe I heard it's only 10 minutes.
Okay. You know, power goes off for obviously sometimes, I mean, it goes without saying, it could be whatever, but, I know it shuts down the treasurer's office and the auditor's office and the recorder because they can't conduct any business at all when it goes down. Plus, we've got about $20,000 in that server. And, hey Jerry, come on in. And so, I don't know, give us some ideas, Rod. I don't know, I know I'm throwing you under the bus here, but,
well, my reason, what leads to that question is my fuel. You know, do I need to run it off of propane, which is, you know, obviously a short duration, or do we hook it up to the natural gas that's here at the building, which then I have to involve a line energy. I mean, it just determines how many steps I have to take. You know, we're not talking a huge generator, so
right.
it kind of, I'm looking for some guidance, I guess.
The natural gas comes in over here on the east side of the building, and there's a spot behind the bushes over there where we can put it in, so if we gas feed it, it's only gonna be probably 20-25 feet, something like that. There is a line coming out of there right now, looks like it's a 1-inch line. It's feeding something else. I don't know what. I think what it's feeding is there's a furnace up on the second floor and a stairway that goes. It's that back stairway that goes from the reception area in the courtroom up to magistrate's court up on the 3rd floor. There's a furnace in that stairwell up there, and I think that's where that gas line goes to.
Okay.
So we could most likely just tie it in there. It'd probably be easier to put it on natural gas in the long run because we wouldn't have to screw around with propane. And then the generator could run more than 24 hours if it had to. So.
Well, I guess my thought process would be if the intent is to save the server, then length of time that it's down. I don't know, what do you guys think? I mean, are you thinking, I mean, it makes sense to me on one level to hook it into natural gas rather than having an external fuel source. But
I agree with you on that.
what do you think? So,
A couple of quick questions, and an observation. 25 years ago, when I put in large server installations and small ones, they had the ability for the UPS to send a turn off yourself message to the server. And the idea of saving the server is really just you want to have it be a smooth shutdown, as opposed to you have no more power. Doesn't matter what you were doing. So that might be a more cost-effective, less onerous approach of looking for a different UPS that could send a message to the server and the server acknowledge it and say, I'm going to sleep, rather than trying to keep it up and running for no use other than protecting it.
With the generator backup though, you don't lose business, so you're able to continue to work through your day.
For everything that you have connected to the server, but if all your PCs, all your terminals, all your printers are down,
True.
the business and your lights, it's kind of hard to conduct business in the dark.
Jerry?
It's not for that. The reason why I said, you know, get you a backup for the you know, important stuff is to protect your data. They already went through this once and they had a storm come through that damaged a lot of stuff, and it took about a week to 2 weeks to get them fully back up.
But if all you're protecting is the server, you're not conducting business.
Right,
So-
but it's not for business to conduct business, it's for them to be able to save what they have.
But
And there are people that use the server remotely, and this would, having it on a backup would maintain
does it,
functionality.
okay, so it's not just the
Okay.
server then it's the.
Well,
It's the infrastructure, the servers, the network, the internet stuff, and this stuff already has the ability to turn itself off when the power doesn't. If the power's gone for 15 minutes, then it'll shut itself down. But the problem is the stuff is staying down longer than that. The power is staying out longer than that.
And then it doesn't turn itself on.
Yeah, it's not 100%.
Right.
The UPSs have software with it. You connect the machines up to the UPS. The software monitors, and then, you know, after a certain amount of time, it'll shut itself down. But we virtualize everything. So the hardware is what the UPS is plugged into. So what we've noticed is the software that they write is not foolproof. So this was the only way that we felt, you know, that you could protect, you know, what you have, because it happens all the time here. I mean, for whatever reason,
Yeah,
you know,
it
you
does.
guys are, and it's not just here. You know, we have customers that are over there that have the same problem. So,
Yeah, I mean,
You know,
yeah,
and
even
if
when
I'm in
there's
Atumwa.
not storms, we lose power.
If I'm in Atumwa, we have a storm. I assume you guys do. Well, if we aren't having storms, I assume you guys aren't. So I'm not here. So we have to kind of rely on other people. You know,
Well,
in
and
the
it doesn't
area.
turn itself back on, does it?
They're supposed to, but like I said, it's.
I mean, cause like you had to come over the other day,
Yep.
and so if this was, if we had some setup, then that wouldn't necessarily be.
Yeah, the only reason why I recommended the generator was to protect, you know, the server, the infrastructure, because it's happened, you know, before.
A lot,
Yeah,
yeah.
and eventually it's gonna.
It even confuses my clock, cause it turns backwards.
Yep. And you know, my thought was, you know, just a small one, just to keep that stuff up and running. You don't need one for the whole environment, because I don't know if I've ever been here when it's actually happened during business hours. It's always happened on the weekend or at night when you guys are gone.
Yeah. So, we obviously don't have a, you know, a dollar amount or anything. So can we have a motion then to ask Rod to get us a cost with natural gas and that sort of thing, to see what we're looking at?
We got natural gas, you got electric, and then you also, well, not electric, but diesel as well. But somebody's got to maintain that in order for that to work. But natural gas, you don't have to. It's always there.
Yeah, I would think that that would be safer, you don't have an external fuel source and
That's true.
that sort of thing.
And I only brought this up because I know other courthouses have these, and other businesses do have these, and I was kind of surprised that, you know, this courthouse didn't have one, so.
So you need that in the form of a motion.
I think so, yes.
So moved, and Rod, check into quotes.
And using the national.
Using the natural gas, yes.
That's a second, so all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Would you do that for us then?
Yes, sir.
Thank you.
I've got one question for you. You probably got power coming off more than one breaker in there, because is some of any of that stuff gonna have to be reworked so that it's all coming off the same power source?
I'm probably gonna just feed that breaker panel versus trying to isolate circuits.
Okay,
We'll take a look at that, figure it out.
yeah, so anything coming out of that panel would be protected then? Okay, well, you know what it's like down there, there's about 6 panels.
today, so did you wanna discuss and consider, I don't know whether you put this on here or not, discuss and consider carpet in the basement?
At some point in time, if, you know, if we're going to complete the improvements down there, we got the voting coming up in November, and it'd be nice if it were all set up by then. We could, I'd like to get a quote to do the carpet in both those areas, and then at the same time also get one for tile replacement up in the second floor bathroom where the tiles, all torn up.
So, my question would be, are we moisture free down there now?
For the most part, I mean, if you get a torrential rain in that, in the room that's on what would be the northwest corner on the north wall, we'd get a little seepage in there, but there's a mini split in there, so any moisture that comes in there is dried up pretty quickly. But we had some torrential rains last, well, in the springtime, and we weren't getting anything in there. Whenever the parking lot gets redone, we'll correct that problem down there.
Do we have any idea what this is gonna cost?
No, don't have a
Let's
clue.
see if we get
I'd like to see the cost, yeah.
so, make a motion to, for Dave to, provide the board with some cost estimates.
Well, I'll get somebody from Buckland down here, or maybe, I don't know who else, but, we'll come up with some kind of cost.
Okay. So motion, I'll second that. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
I just figured that before we start using that area as storage, and then we can't get back in there because the room's, it's got stuff in there, we might as well take care of it.
We'll keep dressing all this stuff up.
Then if I could say something, we talked about doing it because we're going to have an election in November, we're having elections in September as
Yeah,
well.
yeah. That's true too, yeah.
So it'd be nice to have it done before then.
What, before the election in September?
Second,
Before the 2nd of September,
yeah.
okay. Well, I'll get out and talk to him this week, see if I can get somebody out here to look at it.
She's practicing for November's where she's doing, so she's having one in September just to see if she can work the bugs out.
We'll figure it out one way.
I've got this.
Okay.
We did get those mini splits installed upstairs. The units were a little bit larger than the other ones because we wanted to, make sure that we had the right airflow up there because those rooms are packed with people and that kind of thing. So we've got a little bit of work on the ceiling to do, and either I will do them when I find the time, or I'll get somebody else to come in and put them back together.
Okay.
All good?
Yep, anything else for Dave?
Yeah.
All right. Dwayne?
Good morning, Supervisors.
Good morning.
Let's see. We're working on contract rock, which we can do when everything's wet. We're not working on the bridge replacement on 165th because it's a little soggy. Other than that, we're just doing general maintenance. We put rock on over the areas on 146 last week. Got that dressed up again. We've got some shoulder work to do over east of Lockridge. There's a fairly steep slope there that we're gonna have to do something different than what we have to provide some larger erosion stones. When we took that curb off and provided a shoulder, we're channeling that fairly high velocity water along the edge of the road, so we'll have to put some larger erosion stone underneath it to slow the water down, so we don't continue to have the shoulder washing. Other than that, working on easements for the Grass Tree Bridge, so hopefully that's December letting, and plans for Libertyville Road, which is a September letting, but I'm probably gonna get it kicked back to October. Just, so I don't think I'll have the plans ready for the September letting. Other than that, everything's fairly quiet in the road department.
Suppose our bridge work has been delayed again.
Yeah, and they're pecking away.
Is the creek way up by
It wasn't the last time I was there, but we had 2 inches of water for rain over the weekend, so I'm sure it is. The rain is good for the crops. It's not good for bridge work.
Well, I went to Hardy's on Saturday looking for Susie, and an entire 20 miles, it just poured and poured. And I never did see it, but I figured it was because of the rain. It was hard to see.
How was the Skunk River?
It was up. Wasn't out, but it was up. So. You know.
I think so.
Got a question.
Yes, sir.
I'm getting several phone calls. This reclaiming you're doing out in my area with the maintainer,
Mm-hmm.
what are they planning to do with that?
Holding material in.
No, they're running that reclaimer, pulling that shoulder in. What, they're wanting to know what you're planning to do with that dirt.
I honestly don't know. Usually we find a washout and we put it in.
No, it's all along the roads.
Along the edge of the
He's
road.
pulling it all in.
Yeah.
Some roads it's a lot of gravel, some roads it's mostly dirt.
A lot of the times they'll let it dry. So you leave it in the windrow and let the vegetation dry out. Then you work it back and forth across the road and get, that way you can get the dirt and the vegetation separated from the rock, and then the dirt ends up back in the ditch.
Okay.
And ideally the rock ends up on the road.
Okay, good.
You rock the road, then you blade the road, then you plow snow on the road, and that rock ends up getting pushed out to those edges. So a lot of that stuff that's along the edges of the road has a lot of rocking with it, so you try and get it sorted out as best you can.
Okay. All right, well, I've had several phone calls. Thank you.
I'm not a fan of having windrows of rock on the road. A lot of counties will do that. They'll put rock on the edge of the road so that they can bring it back in. Personally, I just as soon have the rock where they're driving to start with.
Well, that's what it's for.
But when you're pulling those shoulders up to try and salvage the rock that gets put back in the ditch, you have to leave it there for a while just to let that vegetation dry out. Otherwise you can't work it.
Yeah, thank you.
Ideally, we wouldn't need to do that. You deal with the budget you have
That's true.
and try and save as much as you can.
Anything else for Dwayne? Susie? Let's see, discuss and consider update of bridge postings.
Oh, I need to be back here for that. We have a number of bridges that are legal for 80,000 pounds, but they are not legal for the governor's, harvest proclamations or the upcoming, all systems permit that the DOT is going to allow that will allow for heavier vehicles. So we will be posting the listed bridges, there's a handful of them, for a maximum of 40 tons for tractor trailer vehicles, and I think 28 tons for straight trucks. But it's basically so that if somebody who has the all systems permit does not check the state DOT's website like they're supposed to, which will show those bridges is not valid for that permit. This way, if they're driving down the road, they will be posted that they can't cross it. So it's kind of a belt and suspenders. You know, they're supposed to look at the DOT's website to verify their route, but this way, if they blow that off and just think they can go anywhere, there's a warning that they can't actually cross those bridges.
A motion to approve?
So moved.
I guess I should read the, we're talking U Avenue north of 210th Street, Redwood Avenue south of 136th Street, Jasmine Avenue between 140th Street and 155th, and Columbine between 145th Street and 150th Street. So I have a motion, we have a second. Discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Discuss and consider fiscal year 2026 secondary roads fund transfer. This is something that we do each year. Real basic. So I'll read the motion. The following amount to be authorized to be transferred during the fiscal year July 1st, 2025. Through June 30, 2026, transfers are to be made monthly and shall not exceed in total for the year $1,120,000 from the rural basic fund to secondary roads fund. Let's see, it shows the amounts on the percentages. So this is part of the engineer, these funds are part of the engineer's revenue stream in the road fund budget. The Board of Supervisors at budget time sets the amount to be transferred from rural basic towards that purpose, and is consistently the $1.1 million each year. Do we have a motion to approve?
So moved. Second.
Discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Alright. Oops. Discuss and consider a subdivision of lot 1, parcel A. Hereby consent, auditor's office does hereby consent to the subdivision plat. Name of lot 1, parcel A, lot, 2 lot subdivision. Let's see that.
This parcel was created as part of a larger subdivision long enough ago that if it had been into Allenwood Park, you could have just done it as a simple split, but since it was a subdivision lot, it requires the minor subdivision. They're basically separating out the homestead from some timber area and providing a access easement into the property. So the code requires a minor subdivision for it, but it's nothing fancy and definitely nothing out of the ordinary.
I make motion to approve.
I'll second that.
Any discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Well, this part is same. Oh, you want me to sign that page? Mr. Secretary?
You're the only one who needs to sign it, though, right?
Need more than one?
Sure.
Okay. 5A. Okay. No, sorry. Are we at 9 o'clock? Okay. Well, then we'll meet with the ambulance director. That'd be you.
I don't have a lot to talk about, so this will be quick.
Okay.
I did have 2 EMT applicants for PRN positions. One interviewed last week, one's gonna interview this week. So once those are figured out, we'll put them on the agenda for approval. Transfer information, I'm still waiting on the report from the billing company from the meeting we had last week. By my calculations, there's about $121,000 of uncollected revenue from transfers alone. But again, I'll wait until we get the report from the billing company to see what we wanna do with that.
Just for me, by the way, is that not medically necessary transfers?
That's all of the transfers.
All the
Yep.
transfers, okay.
Yeah, well, no, that's all of the transfers for this calendar year so far, from January 1st through, I think it's out of May. Cause it takes a while for stuff to come in, but,
Right.
yeah, everything from January 1st to May, we have about $121,000 of uncollected revenue.
And is that transferred funds or revenue that we can't collect?
So that is revenue that we can.
Can, okay,
Yes. Yep.
okay.
So, like I said, we'll wait for the billing company to see what they have to say. She should have that report to me just hopefully today, but we'll see. Other than that,
I apologize.
no, that's okay.
So that we can collect, but we haven't collected yet?
Correct.
And the reason we haven't collected yet is considering that we're in July and you're saying that's
Well,
through May?
Some of those.
You guys need anything else from me?
No, I think we're
Okay.
good, Jerry, right?
Alright, let me know if you need anything else.
Thank you.
Yep, see you guys.
Insurance payments,
Okay.
self-pay,
Okay.
some of that stuff takes a while for
Sure.
it to collect, but
But
that is
it's-
just that's outstanding.
Yeah, it's been billed though.
Yes, it's
Okay.
been billed, yep. The troponin test, still waiting on that, Dr. Marino's kinda dragging her feet, but we'll see how that turns out. As far as the training program, still nothing back from the state yet, hopefully we're getting closer. I've reached out to another physician to see if we can go a different route for a medical director for the training program. She seems to be on board so far, but we're still trying to work with her and see what else we can do. So, other than that, we're just trucking along.
And we think they'll get to start on the ambulance this week?
I hope so. Still waiting on the report back from the adjuster, but, I think they're gonna coordinate with Max to get things going, so.
Anything for Josh? Alright. 9 o'clock. Meet with Brian Rainier and Leslie Todd with Aflac. Oh, there they are up there.
Gotta look up, Lee.
Would there be the ability to share a presentation with you guys? It looks like sharing is not turned on with Zoom, and if no, it's okay,
Which one has the presentation?
I do, Wesley.
Can we turn them up or can they turn up? I can't hear, I can't hardly hear it either.
You see that okay?
Yeah.
Awesome. Well, Brian and I really appreciate you guys taking some time, just meeting with us. I'm gonna take a few minutes and just go through who we are, what we do, and then obviously we'll get into cancer products and how we help businesses and organizations like yours. Just a little background, we pioneered voluntary benefits back in the 1950s. Came out with this product that covers cancers. It's basically separate from what health insurance is. Today, we are the worldwide leader in that space. we actually insure more homes than every single competitor combined in the world. And so we definitely own this space. A very ethical company. So the things we really like to hang our hat on. One of the world's most ethical companies for almost 20 years, one of the most admired companies worldwide for well over 20 years now. Bottom line is we pay our claims. We don't mess people around. Aflac is also in this space, never raised rates. So 70 years in business, so very, very good about what we do when it comes to taking care of people in their, in a lot of times a really difficult time. So this is one of the challenges. Everybody's heard of Aflac. That duck helped us. I remember when the duck came out. I was just coming out of college, and it was a wild time. But I would say fast forward 24 years, and not a lot of people necessarily know what we do. Many times people think we do home and auto, or we think we maybe do something with health insurance. Our products are indemnity in nature. And so what that means is they pay a cash benefit to people when something happens to them. So our products are not designed to pay providers. They don't pay doctors. They don't pay hospitals. Everything that we pay is directly to the policyholder, which would be the employee in this scenario. The employee has full discretion where those funds are spent. So they can use it to cover deductibles and out-of-pocket expenses, or they can use it to pay their house payment or cover travel expenses. It's something that we see a lot of where people maybe think that this just covers what health insurance doesn't cover. It doesn't, that's not the case. So these don't coordinate benefits. So on a typical cancer claim, just even on average, this cancer product's going to put about $20,000 in someone's hands if they're diagnosed with a typical internal cancer. And that ranges, I've paid cancer claims of almost $100,000 to people. And so many times people are like, well, what are they doing with that money? We've all known someone, I would assume you've all known someone that's gone through cancer. It's incredibly expensive. Most people are just vastly underprepared for the non-medical costs. And what those would be is travel expenses. So when we see people that are diagnosed with cancer, most of them want to go to University of Iowa, or they want to go to Mayo Clinic. And they're driving back and forth at least 40, 50 times. Gas isn't covered under the health insurance. Hotel bills are not covered under the health insurance. While the employee may have access to disability coverage or a strong PTO program, who's taking it? Their spouse or a family member. And so we see people missing multiple incomes when they're going through these types of things. There's also the food, so eating out, or they're put on a special diet, which can get really expensive. And this is ongoing. So this is typically something that we see people deal with for a period of 2 to 3 years, if not longer. And so this is kind of explaining what it is that we do and how our products work. This is kind of our portfolio, lots of different options, coverage for injuries, coverage for cancer, critical illness would be like the heart, the stroke types of plans. Obviously dental and vision, very strong products, life insurance, disability hospital. So all of our plans are a la carte. Employers can pick and choose which products they want to offer to their employees and make them available. And I guess here's some of the benefits when it comes to, from an employer standpoint. It doesn't typically cost the employer anything unless they choose to pay for a portion of it. We handle all the legwork on it. So we meet with employees, we educate them, if they want products, great, if they don't, we'll usually capture waiver. It is pre-tax, so there is some savings from the employer standpoint on FICA and FUTA. Even though you're not paying for it, you'll save some tax dollars just by making this available to employees. So here's the numbers. You've probably seen this in Iowa. We're currently the second highest rating for diagnosis rate in the country, projected to be #1 in cancer diagnosis in less than 18 months. I've been in this business for 24 years working with Aflac, and every single week I have someone that calls me that's been diagnosed with cancer. And it's tough. Last week was a gentleman diagnosed with prostate cancer, and sat down with that gentleman for about 30 minutes, went through his diagnosis, obviously scared, worried about just all the things that go along with it. And I said, hey, looks like Affleck's gonna cut you a check for about $30,000 to get this thing started. And the guy stood up and gave me that's what we do, which is pretty darn cool. We get to help people, take away that financial impact for them. And once again, from an employer standpoint, no cost to you, it's just a matter of making it available to the employees. So this is our cancer plan. There's no age bands. So any employee, regardless of age, 18 to 75, can pick this plan up. Same cost for everyone. We cover the children at no additional cost. These are guaranteed renewable, and they are portable, meaning many times you have an employee that will retire, they can keep these plans, and they'll keep the group rate that you guys have forever. We have a guarantee issue option. This one's hot off the press. So this literally was, I just found out about this in my 8 o'clock meeting, that Aflac is doing something that they very rarely do. They are offering a guarantee issue option on this plan for the remainder of this year. And so typically when someone applies for a cancer plan, there's about 3 or 4 questions that they have to answer. It's going to ask, have you had cancer before? Or are you waiting on results of a test? Those types of things. And if they answer those in the affirmative, they can't get the product. So Aflac is waiving that for right now for companies that have at least 35 employees, which you do, and making it available. There's no increase in cost. A typical question is what if someone has cancer? So typically without this option, they have to be cancer-free for 5 years before they can even get the plan. With this, we will issue the plan once they've been 2 years, then we'll start paying the benefits on it. A couple of other pieces on the cancer plan. It pays a first occurrence benefit, so it's a large amount of money that it pays them up front, and then every year that they have the plan, it's going to increase $500. So 10 years goes by, someone's diagnosed with cancer, it's going to pay an additional $5,000, and so on and so forth. That continues to build for them. There's also a wellness benefit, and this is really a key part for, I think, employers that they appreciate. One thing that we do know with cancer is that early detection is really, really important. And so Aflac has an incentive in place. Now, those of you that are my age or older, when we go in and have those cancer screenings, they're covered at 100%. The gals, they're pretty good at it. Us guys, we're not so great at it. But as we go in and do it, Aflac is going to pay an incentive to them to do that. And every person that's covered under that policy, whether it be $50 or $75, depending on the type of plan. So health insurance is going to cover 100% of that cost for them to go do that. They will go in and file quickly through our portal, and then they would have that $75 benefit that's paid to them just as an incentive to get it done. Is there any questions so far?
Nope.
Awesome. So educating is very important. As I mentioned earlier, everybody's heard of us, but not a lot of people necessarily know how these plans work, how they operate. They're not health insurance where you just have a card that you take to a doctor. We're typically engaged with those people. We take pride in making sure people understand how these policies work, and if they need to file a claim, we want to build some rapport with your staff rather than you having to learn something new, how it works. Really, from the employer standpoint, all we would ask is that you payroll deduct it, and then when the bill comes at the end of the month, pay that bill. We will handle the rest. We can do a couple different options. I work with a lot of city and county governments. Many times we just get on the back of like staff meetings. So if they're doing safety training or whatever, we get with each of the department heads and get those scheduled to come in and do those types of meetings. So we can do small group, or we can just come in and meet with each person one at a time. With this being a guarantee issue option, this is only going to be for the first initial enrollment. So just really want to make sure you're aware of that. That's not something that will be ongoing. So kind of like life insurance, if you've brought in life insurance over the years, when you do that, the first offering is guarantee issue. So it's pretty important. And then post-enrollment follow-up from our standpoint, we will be that point of contact. So we won't be calling a 1-800 number or trying to figure out, we all know insurance can be confusing. We do the post-enrollment handling. So employee gets, has a question or they're diagnosed with cancer, they're going to call Ryan or me, and we're going to walk them through that process. Okay? That's what I've got. I wanted to keep it within our time frame, and I'm glad I did that. Just want to answer any questions you guys have, and what the next steps would be.
I don't know what the next steps would be, to be perfectly honest with you, but I would, I guess, my understanding would be this would be, I assume what we would, that you would schedule a time frame to meet with employees, but I think that we have to discuss with Darcy what, you know, what kind of, what she would have to do. I'm assuming you're wanting to run it, have an automatic deduction or whatever from their paychecks, and so I don't know how that works for you with all the extra work that you would have to.
That's how all our other benefits are currently working, so I wouldn't see that being an issue.
So I don't know what we do on our part.
We could notify all the employees that this is an option. And they can take it on themselves to contact them.
Find out.
I will tell you, with the guarantee issue option, we won't be able to do that type of enrollment. So if somebody they don't understand what AFLAC is, and I'm only saying this because I've been doing this for 20-some years, and just, if you're going to roll this out, you definitely want it to be something where there's some education in place for employees. The last thing that you ever want to have happen is an employee come back and say, well, I didn't know that this was an option, or I didn't know what this AFLAC stuff was, so I didn't want to go to the meeting. And then they're diagnosed with cancer. And so if we're going to bring this out, it really is important, at least for this first initial time, to meet with employees and make sure that they're aware of what it is.
Well, I understand that, but I think that you'd have to coordinate with, say, like, the sheriff's department, with the roads department, with public health. I think you'd have to meet with each department.
Yes, sir.
I don't know how you, I mean.
I can address that if you
Okay.
want. So, as I mentioned, I've worked with several city and county governments and do know all the ins and outs. So typically, the way that we would process this is, it's really you saying, yes, let's take a look at this, let's offer this. We would then meet with payroll, and then through payroll, we would get the contacts for each department. We would go and meet with each of the departments and the department heads and kind of walk through what this is going to look like to make sure that we've got flexibility for them. We know everybody works on different schedules. They have different types of needs. Some may say, let's just do one at a time. That's easiest for us. Some may say, we have a safety meeting at 7:30 on this date here. And we're flexible on our part. So usually when it's, we're in a scenario like this, it's basically the affirmative, yes, we think this makes sense for our employees. We want to make this available. And then we would start to coordinate with, once again, payroll or HR staff to start to get this out and get some dates in place. We would likely make it effective in a couple of months just to give some time and get it all taken care of.
So I got one quick question. Is there a minimum number of employees that you would have to enroll?
That's a great question. The answer is 3. And what we typically would see with the county is between 30 and 40, 30 and 50% is usually what we see that are interested in a cancer product. So we're not concerned obviously about the 3 people. It's just a matter of working with your guys' schedules or the department head schedules to make sure that, employees, go through this, process. And to also talk about that process, it's about 5 to 10 minutes. So this isn't something that takes a lot of time. It's a fairly quick overview for them. Employees, have some materials so that they can make an informed decision.
So you're doing it, you're in charge of the auditor's office, are you okay if they move forward with it? I'm sorry.
I mean, I think it's something I'd like to reach out and find if we have an interest in, from the employees. We also have a pretty comprehensive plan through IGHCP, and that potentially could be something that Denise and her group would offer as well. I don't know if a cancer policy has ever been presented to you guys from Denise and her group or not.
Not that
That's
I'm
something
aware
that-
of, I'm not seeing it happen.
That's something that they offer. I think it would definitely be worth exploring and finding out, like I said, what interest we have among our employees.
So, how do we wanna handle this? Do we wanna just send out an email to the department heads to reach out to their employees to start with, or, like Darcy said, to find out, to gauge interest? And then at the same time, and you get contact information to Darcy, at the auditor's office?
Yes, we could.
Okay.
A couple different ways that we've done this in the past, just to, however you choose to do. Sometimes, we could schedule a Zoom like this with some of the department heads to give them an overview. Usually if we go out, if somebody comes to you and says, hey, do you want more insurance? Your first initial reaction is going to be what?
How much does it cost?
Right, and no one knows what it costs. They don't know what it covers, and so that's where making an informed decision is tough when you go and do a survey or something like that. What we typically could do is we could do either a Zoom, or we could come in and do meet with some of the department heads and at least explain how these plans work, so that if you did want to go through that process where they're reaching out to the employees for interest, they would at least have some of the information. They would know the cost, they would know the plans. That's probably where you're going to get the best type of an answer. Otherwise, my guess is you would probably get mostly no.
Well, I don't know how you set that up either. I mean, I'm not saying you can't have them come in here, I'm not saying that at all, but I'm not gonna be part of setting that up. As far as that part goes. As far as being able to access the Zoom, I'm okay with that, but.
And we'd be happy to come down and meet with them as well. That's really, I was just being, for their time, to be as flexible as they'd like. More than happy to come in and meet one at a time, or in a meeting with all of them together. Really, we're flexible on our end. We just want to make sure that if you are looking at this and exploring it, that people really know what it is and how it works.
Well, again, I go back to what I said a second ago, or a minute ago, whatever, that, however that's coordinated, the employees or the department heads or whatever, you guys are gonna have to schedule or coordinate a time that works for, like, say, the sheriff's department, that works for the roads department, or even if it's the individual department heads, at least initially.
Yes, sir.
And whether it's here or whatever, but I would go through the auditor's office to coordinate that.
And Lee, I'm from Fairfield, right? So, I mean, I would be, I'd be able to stay multiple days down there to be able to meet with all the proper people. That's not a problem. We would be able to get to meet with everyone that's necessary.
Well, again, and that's fine, I think that's a good thing, actually, but, I would just recommend or suggest that you coordinate with the auditor's office, because they're there all the time and they're the ones that are gonna handle it, and whatever process you all come up with is, and then to inform the employees and the department heads what you offer and what it looks like. And it's really outside our purview. It's up to the individual employees to decide what they wanna do.
So then would it be okay for us to try to coordinate with the auditor's office, in the next several days, and, is that okay with you guys then?
Yeah, that sounds good.
Okay, perfect. Well, we'll reach out and, start looking at calendars.
Okay,
Really appreciate your time this morning, guys.
thank you.
All right, thank
Can
you.
you give me host back?
Yes, how do I do that? Oh, there we go. So I see the host tools. Do I just,
If you click
Suspect.
on us, well, I guess I don't know what it looks like on your end.
I'm sorry. Oh, I found it.
Thank you.
All right, thank you. Good rest of the day.
Okay, discuss and consider request opioid funds. That is determined that Alex from the library indicated that what they were looking at, exactly how to explain it, but they don't need it anymore. So,
Dropped it.
yeah, so we'll table that or
So he's
whatever.
withdrawn.
Withdrawn, yes, thank you. Next on the agenda is to discuss and consider property taxes at 703 South Maple and Fairfield. I would ask, sir, you can come on up. If we could take a 2-minute break, or you guys can start having the conversation, but I have to see if all the rooms are still available downstairs.
Well, as the supervisors take a break, we'll take one too. And right here, I will I will remind you to remember to give this episode a like, follow and subscribe. It's free. I appreciate you.
So, you are specifically what are you asking?
What I'm asking is it possibly, I'm Travis McGuire. First of all, thanks guys for allowing me to be here, putting me on the agenda. What I'm asking the board to do is to, completing 2 sensibilities, and we could go retroactive possibly on the form the wrong form that I filled out. And what I brought with me today is a bunch of the forms. There were 3 of them that I could find, and it would explain why I got confused. But I also brought with proof that I'm current on my taxes. So if you want to look at that, does anyone want to see that?
Well, you are, yeah, your taxes are paid up.
Okay, yeah, you guys would know.
Right.
So, what I'm asking today is because, I mean, I'm not blaming anyone, I'm not blaming the county. The person I'm blaming today is myself for not being humble enough to ask for the proper form. Now, that form has been filled out and has been submitted for next year. But I missed that cutoff by 7 days because I thought that I had submitted the form last September. When I came in last September and submitted the form for tax exemption, because I'm 100% disabled American veteran, that allows me to be tax exempt on my property tax. That being said, I filled out the form that was a homestead tax credit or military service tax exemption rather than the homestead and, yeah, well, that's the property tax. There's a bunch of different ones, let me see what there is. Military service property tax exemption, which is Iowa Code 426A, Administrative Code 701, 110.2, which has been filled out, and I've submitted the proof that I'm 100% disabled, and, I'm just asking you, the reason I'm asking you is that, I have, and again, I want everybody to understand, this is nobody's fault but my own. But I had planned, when I borrowed the money last year, I borrowed money against the house to make improvements. A roof, some other things, a bunch of things. And, I had to be very careful through the winter so I could get to the point where I was tax exempt, because that was gonna free up $500 a month. Rather than freeing up $500 a month, it added an additional $300. So I went from paying $500 a month to now paying $800 a month on my property taxes. Now, I understand because of where I live, that puts me in a position where I'm gonna have to pay more property taxes. And again, I'm not blaming anybody else. But what I'm asking today is if the board would possibly consider, taking that form that I was a week late on, and had the wrong form, and I admit that I submitted the wrong form. If the board would, show some compassion and please allow me to do that retroactively.
So, just for the record, and I'm not 100% I think I'm right. It was due July 1st.
That's correct.
And so we pushed you out to July 21st because you made contact a week earlier. So you basically, you didn't get it filed until?
The 7th of July.
Right, okay. And so, but just so everybody's clear, you're not asking, you're just asking for us to accept the form that you filed late as if it was filed by July 1st.
Yes.
Okay. And then you understand that that doesn't impact your taxes for the current fiscal year, that it's a year out.
No, I did not understand that.
Right. Okay, so what I'm saying is and I always get confused on property taxes, but, so for example, what you're probably paying this year is property, the values that were assessed in either 23, 24 or 24, 25 and.
Fall of 24.
Oh, hi, Steve.
Yeah. The assessment of 24.
Right, okay. So, am I right that this wouldn't?
You couldn't see it on, see the no taxes till fall of 26. Another thing that I've found out is you cannot post date it.
Okay.
You can abate. If you chose to abate taxes, that would be up to you, but you can't post date it by law.
Okay.
But you can certainly abate if you choose to.
So let me ask you a question then. When you say abate, we would,
You couldn't do anything now because there's no taxes
There's no taxes due, but when taxes came due, you could abate.
okay. So let me. Semantics here.
Yeah.
Okay. Just say for sake of argument that I could post date.
Yep.
But just bear with me on this, I'm gonna get here, because Abby told me how to do this. So then come whatever date it is, there would be no taxes due because.
Well, you'd have to post date it a year and however many days.
Oh, okay, I thought we just posted it back to July 1st.
That won't get you anything till fall of 26.
Exactly, but that's what I'm talking about.
Yes.
Yeah,
So basically, you're looking to abate 2 years worth of taxes with this, which you'll, we don't know what even taxes are gonna be yet this fall.
but if
That's
you,
still
oh,
in the works.
okay, I didn't ask the question right. if I had got it filed by July first,
Yep.
that would affect my taxes that would be due and payable when?
Fall of 26.
Fall of 26. So even though I can't, you're saying I can't backdate it to July 1st?
I don't believe so. You could ask Chauncey.
No, that's okay. I'm okay with that. But for the sake of argument, if I could,
Yeah.
then I would be exempt for those taxes that would have been due and payable in the fall of 26.
Correct.
So, if we were to abate my taxes that were due and payable in the fall of 26, when they come due and payable, would be no different than if we had backdated it, even though we're not allowed to make it exempt.
Well, I don't know, I guess for sure, this would be more of an auditor question. Is there any reimbursement on that from the state?
You mean, are the property taxes reimbursed to us?
With his situation with the disabled veteran, is that a reimbursable tax, like a homestead tax credit is what I'm asking?
I've never heard, I don't know.
I don't either, I don't get on that end of it.
Because, correct me if I'm wrong here, but my thought process is that if this form that he filled out is not valid because it wasn't submitted by a proper date, if we take that form and fill it out now to get it in before July 1st of next year.
Which we've done.
Okay.
Which we've done. So now it makes it a 26 application, which won't affect his taxes till fall of 27.
Right. But in fall of 26, we could abate those.
You
is
could
what
abate,
you're saying.
absolutely, that's what I'm saying. You could abate the ones this fall.
Right.
That's strictly up to you.
Right. I'm not sure, I mean, I guess, what my thought process, my personal thought process is that if you can't backdate it to July 1st, okay, I understand that. You can accomplish the same thing by abating them in fall of 26 when they come due and payable. There's nothing due and payable right now. And then it would automatically kick in fall of 27 because you've already got the form filed.
Correct.
That's clear as mud, right?
We're just stirring it up.
Yeah, so, anyway, does that make it a little more sensible? I mean, I mean, the taxes are paid up, so where I'm at is the taxes moving forward. And if he had got it filed on June 30th, fall of 26, there wouldn't be any taxes due and paid, correct? Steve?
Fall of 20.
6. Fall of
But
26.
yeah, exactly.
Okay. But because it didn't get filed by July 1st, there would be taxes due and payable in the fall of 26, which aren't due and payable right now because they haven't been levied. So you can't abate that which does not exist. But they will be due and payable in the fall of 26, so a year from now. But if we don't do anything, and I'm saying if, I'm just letting you know, if you don't do anything, the form that they filed will only kick in the fall of 27, so 2 years out. Right? So he would have to come back in the fall of 26, say, hey, remember me? And then we would have to take action at that point. So there really is no action to take.
Not really today, not till there's taxes due.
And then he would have to fill, which is in the auditor's office, is an application that you get in the auditor's office for an abatement. Right?
I don't know what that is.
Well, abatement just wipes it out.
Oh,
Okay? So they're abated. It's not a suspension, it's an abatement. So we abate the taxes for fall of 26 that come due and payable in fall of 26. Your application or your form or whatever for your disabled veterans exemption won't kick in until the fall of 27. So the question is what we do for the fall of 26. That you're a year out.
Yeah, cause these are already, yeah, this is already ready to go. These will be paid on the 30th of September for this year. That's all ready to go.
Right.
I was just trying to address what's going on for
The next year.
Yes.
So
Yes.
the answer to that question is, because we can't, there's no action to be taken because there's nothing yet. Once that becomes levied and due and payable, then there's an application in the auditor's office to abate those taxes. And then there's no penalties, there's no interest, there isn't anything, it's not a suspension, it's an abatement. So, and then the following fall, your disabled veterans exemption kicks in and it's
That's it.
right. So you would have to file an application for abatement, which you can do through the auditor's office, come back on the agenda, and then it would be a discuss and consider. But we can't abate anything today because you don't know anything because fall of 26 hasn't been levied yet.
I understand now. Okay, so when can I apply for abatement?
Once you get your tax bill, I would think.
Okay.
July?
There is no, it isn't like a July 1st deadline or anything of
It's
that.
not.
Okay, so
Okay.
you come into the audit, so like he said, when you get your tax bill in the mail for next year, you come in, at that point, fill out an abatement, application, all this information that we've discussed today, you know, that your veterans exemption, the disabled veterans exemption, all that.
Okay.
That comes before the board and then action would be taken at that point. But there is no, required filing date per se, like there is on homestead exemption, veterans exemption, on that sort of thing. Okay? Part of the reason for that is because all this stuff has to be in the works because we're, I guess I'd say, a year behind, so to speak. So, does that make sense?
It does, and he did explain it, not that well, but I had the gist of it. Very
Right.
complicated, but when does the bill come out for the taxes? Is that January, February?
August.
Oh,
I think August, yes.
so I'll see it in the mail this August?
You'll see a bill for 25, 26.
Okay, fiscal year 2025.
Correct.
Yeah, which you were just talking about.
Right.
But the other one will be,
Next August.
So I gotta wait until I get that,
Yes.
and then I can come in
yeah,
and fill out my application.
yeah.
Okay.
And then it'll be on the agenda to discuss and consider, and you probably will have to, Steve will be here and whatnot, you'll probably have to, cause we're old, so you probably have to hit us upside the head to jog our memory, but, we'll have all that information. And then, moving forward, and again, like I said, there will be no penalties, no interest or anything of that nature. And then your application that you filled out, for the disabled veterans exemption automatically kicks in. Now, does he have to do that every year?
No, it's just a one-time thing.
Okay, so once you've got that and that's in the works, so moving forward, then that'll just automatically take over.
Okay.
Clear as mud, right?
Yeah, it's pretty tricky, man.
Yeah, but you don't, again, there is no specific deadline, so if you don't come in by August 15th, you see what I'm saying? In other words,
I do understand, sir.
okay?
Okay.
All right, I appreciate it, sir. Thank
All right,
you.
Thank you. Thanks for your time.
Yeah.
Thanks, Steve.
Okay, discuss and consider ISAC dues for fiscal 26. It was a protest moment on my part. I'm not a fan of ISAC, but I know that Joe goes and, but these are our specific dues for our affiliate, which is $400. I just want you to be aware of it. If I had my way, I don't think we belong to ISAC, but
Motion to approve.
I'll second it because I do get some benefit out of it, I feel like. So,
That's to approve payment of the dues.
Correct.
Okay. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Aye. I just wanted to go there. Okay. Discuss and consider Teacher of the Year fundraising sponsorship. Okay.
Have we done this before?
Not that I'm aware of. It's a letter, I'll read it.
Yeah,
Shannon
I
did have-
looked.
What'd you say?
Shannon did have the question about what the public purpose would be.
I don't know the answer to that. So it says, subject, celebrate and support Fairfield's teachers at this year's golf outing. And then it has my name. Thank you for your continued support of the Fairfield Manufacturers Association Teacher of the Year Award Golf Outing. I confess I was not aware unless this happened sometime before I got back on the board.
And before I go back.
So for 14 years, your generosity has helped us recognize and celebrate the educators who shape the future of our community. I honestly don't remember names. This year, we're making the event even more meaningful. We're proud to announce that the 2025 Teacher of the Year fundraiser will sponsor 2 teams of local teachers to participate in the tournament, giving our business community a chance to connect directly with the educators who inspire our youth every day. Too often, teachers feel isolated from the broader community and the businesses feel disconnected from the classroom. This event is our opportunity to change that. By sponsoring this year's outing, you're not just supporting a fundraiser, you're investing in a person, profession, and a partnership between education and economic development. 2025 golf outing details are event 4-person best ball 9 holes. I suppose people who play golf know what that means. Date Friday, August 15, 2025. Location Fairfield Golf and Country Club. Time 4:30 p.m. Major sponsors $600, includes 2 players, a cart, signage, and recognition. Teacher team sponsor $300, fill their carts with company swag or thank you. Hole sponsor $200, includes signage of 1 hole and recognition in the program. Let's make this year's event the most inspiring yet. Join us in celebrating the incredible educators who make Fairfield a great place to live, learn, and grow. Warm regards, Ed Malloy, Executive Director. So there you have it. I don't know the first thing about it. I mean, I understand the teachers' awards, but anyways, I've been doing this for 16 years. I don't ever remember this.
I don't either.
To me, it would be more appropriate for us to award somebody to the year.
Say that again. No, she was gonna hit me, so I was talking.
Who was it?
I said, I think, in my opinion, it'd be more appropriate for the supervisors to award somebody teacher of the year as opposed to going through this.
Yeah. I do think that it might. Yeah. So, I hate to do negative motions. So, I don't know how else to do it.
Just drop it.
Not that this isn't a worthy cause, but I think we should think about it.
So, okay, so just just table for lack of motion. That's a motion. Just,
Don't overdo.
no, I'm not. Throw my back out.
I had the Madison Barnes meeting last Thursday.
Thanks,
John.
John.
About things, upcoming events, they're asking for folks that would really like to come out and help them clean up the grounds, paint them, prepare the playground equipment.
Oh, excuse
So if you know anybody that's interested, go on out there. They'd love to have you work.
Work?
I know it's a
For
full
a county supervisor, I don't work.
You got that, right? And,
That was a robot that said that, by the way. Okay, go ahead.
now I had a Semco meeting on Wednesday.
Okay.
The whole gist of our meeting was really just talking about Judy Hand, who passed away a couple weeks ago. And we signed a card for her, and I really think we should, as supervisors, or the whole courthouse, just send a sympathy card to her husband.
Did you make that happen? Thank you. Just something, food for thought. Oh crap. For the next budget session, which I realize is
6 months
a mere 6 months away.
It's okay, we're busy.
I want to have a serious conversation about, apparently, you know this better than I, so I'm asking you. If we've got a manager of an entity that we support that's working 3 days a week, that's physically present 3 days a week, let me put it that way, and that is a joint venture between 2 other counties and this county, I would like to, I would question whether or not we don't reduce the.
Could you be more specific?
Sure. It's my understanding that your manager at Simcoe is present about 3 days a week. By my math.
I don't know, he's always there when I'm there.
Okay, that's what I'm saying, so that's what I'm asking you to find out, because by my math, if he's only there 60% of the time, he should only get 60% for wages, and we should cut our contribution by 40% there. Is that my math?
So should that hold true to all the other people that we pay on our, you know?
Well,
If they're only there 60% of the time.
Whatever works. I don't know that there's any truth to that.
No, I don't, I'll ask.
Okay.
The one thing that that goes on every time we have a meeting, we compare what Wapello County's charging at the Williamsville, what Iowa City's charging at theirs. Because there are folks that, you know, if it's cheaper in Iowa City, Abby will take her stuff there. If it's cheaper in Ottumwa, Christie will take her stuff there. So, you know, there is that factor where we're competing against a lot of other people. But if you've ever been to Simcoe, it has really cleaned up.
Well, no, I'll be honest with you, when I take trash, I'm fortunate enough that I can take it out to Conley's.
Yeah, I do too. And they pick it up and take
Yeah.
it out to Simcoe.
Yeah, and I appreciate them for that, I really do.
So back to Madison Barnes, if you want to donate some time, go on out there.
Donate?
I could push you on swings at house.
I see, okay. So, is that all you had? Whoops, sorry. All you had? Joe?
I had a Resilient Action Committee meeting last week.
Okay, what?
Resilient Action
Okay.
Committee.
What do they do?
It's about the future of Fairfield
Cool
and
like this.
Yeah.
what's gonna take place, what they're suggesting. I attended the Mazda Barnes meeting Tuesday night, which was on the agenda. And, like Susie said, they're needing help, and I had worked out with Leon and Chuck Belgrade to help Saturday morning. Well, I got up, it was raining, so that was canceled. Went Traction Thursday on Thursday, which is talk about entrepreneurs and how what they've done, this and that. And on Friday, I had a luncheon over at the McElhaney House called Generations Over Dinner, which was, Lee's looking at me like,
I think it's for old
generations.
people.
It's for, there was 48 or 50 of us there, and they had tables set up, and they divided us up with younger and older, and I think maybe I was probably in the older generation, the way it looked at my table, but the youngest one was 9 years old. He sat down with his phone in his hand and real bashful, and we started working on him, asking him questions, and this little guy, before the meeting was over, was actually conversing with us, and he would write questions down, and we'd answer them, and it was just quite entertaining to talk to different people and what they were thinking and stuff. So And that's the end of it. Generations over.
Well, I went to Iowa City and had needles stuck in my eye. And it worked out well. I can still see. So, and I only have to go once every 6 months now.
Does it hurt?
Does it hurt?
Yeah.
Only when they stick it in the eye. No, not really. I mean, there's a little bit of, some reason in the right eye, I feel it more than I do the left one, but there's a little more of a, there's a stick when they go in to numb them, and then after that, no. Worst part about it is, as far as I'm concerned, is the dilation. It's a little hard to see oncoming traffic when you're driving.
You know, as a community service, you should let people know when you're going,
Well,
your route.
I guess there's a point to that, I suppose, so.
They don't ask you if you have a driver?
Oh, yeah, they do, and I tell them no. I go to Hardee's, imagine that. Did you know that the Hardee's in Iowa City is owned by the same people that own the one in Mount Pleasant and Atomo?
I haven't been to
Burlington, excuse me, Burlington, Mount Pleasant, and Iowa City. Cause I see the same lady and all that, or she's stalking me.
Yeah, she has
You
three
said your
cars.
eyes were dilated. Are you sure?
Oh, I'm positive, I recognize the voice. So, what do we have next?
Public comments.
Oh, okay. I guess the public
I
is,
guess they already commented while they were here.
evidently, other than anonymous. Hearing none, allow claims and approved reports in the amount of $128,545.60.
Motion to approve.
Thank you.
Second.
Discussion. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Well, never a dull moment at the Board of Supervisors meeting in Jefferson County here in Fairfield, Iowa. Thank you for watching. Thank you to my sponsors, Griner Auto Body, Car Doctor, McDonald Boneyard, Your Choice Family Restaurant, Girling Repair, B&B Propane, and the family at Jet Stops, CW Tree Trimming, LLC, Dutch Market, and Coffee Talk. I'm your host, John Bain. Stay friendly, Southeast Iowa.